So I have here a toilet paper holder, and you can see some big gnarly looking drywall anchors that are in it, and you can see back here some holes in the wall. I don't know if those will show up real well, where it has been ripped out. I may not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out what happened here. Two kids, somebody went to prying on it. I'm actually sitting on the toilet right here. They went to reach for it, yanked it off. So I've got to fix that. There is on this particular model just one side support. If it were the more traditional style that had two arms, second one out here, it probably would have been a little bit stronger in its mount. But still, if you've got a kid cranking on it eventually, drywall anchors are going to give up. This one has an Allen head set screw in there that actually holds the arm onto the mount. And then this kind of beauty ring that covers the mount plate. So I've got that off. Next consideration I had was, where do I want to mount it? Right here as it was, right where drywall anchors, there's no stud there. I've got a stud back over here. If I look at that, that's a bit of an awkward twist. And if I go too far out the other way, I've got relatively long arms, I guess, but that's not too bad for me. Is that going to be too far for the kids? Well, I think that'll work well enough, and I can hit the stud instead of using drywall anchors this way. How I went about locating the stud, this bathroom was actually, I think, poorly remodeled. I don't know if it was a contractor or what by the prior owner. So you can see, I don't know if they'll show up on the video, but some of the nail holes in the sheetrock are easy to spot. But to confirm, what I've got is just a small, really strong magnet. A fridge magnet's not going to be strong enough. A very large shop style, large diameter magnet's not going to be big, or going to be too big and way too much. But I use these little things. You can get them at any of the home stores. Amazon, I'm sure, probably has them. The magnet's strong enough and still light enough that if you find a stud, it will stick right there on the nail head. So we can be pretty sure, unless they miss the drywall, that that's where a stud is. We can kind of work our way up, just kind of confirm, and we have to work our way down to find another one. And there's another one right down here. So we can be pretty sure that we've got a stud right there. And so I think if I kind of mark that, and I'll put my bracket, my screws either side of that, I'll have two screws right there in the stud. First thing I have to do on these old drywall anchors is get them off of these screws. So I've got a pair of pliers and just a Phillips screwdriver, and I'll use those to hold while I get that off. Throw that in the trash. Well, if they would have held in the wall as well as they're holding to the screw, or the screw's holding to them, it may have stayed put. There we go. So I'm going to have to watch my orientation on this. It's got a flat spot where that set screw holds it. Depending on which way you want it to face. I want it to face this way, the set screw's at the bottom. That needs to face the flat, so I really need to run this vertically with the slot at the bottom. So I'll just have to keep that in mind as I mark my holes here. Hopefully I don't block your view too bad. I'm just going to set that right there. I know we're centered on the stud that way. And I've got my little pencil marks. We should be done with the magnet. I've got what I believe, I didn't really confirm the size. I think it's my 3/32 bit. Pretty small bit. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the camera, but we can kind of confirm that is wood in the bit there. And you can usually tell by feel when you've hit a stud. How it goes so easily through the drywall at first, and then when you hit the stud, it really slows down, and you can tell. What I've got here, they may be a little bit longer than we need. They're 2-inch number 6 drywall screw. Drywall screws are not inherently very strong. Certainly not meant for a structural load-bearing type of situation, but this definitely should not be load-bearing unless the kids go to cranking on it again. But for this application, they're a little smaller diameter than a construction screw. So a little smaller hole in the wall. I've already got 2 holes over here I'll have to fill later. No sense in running some gargantuan sized screw when it's not needed. And these are quite a bit cheaper. I mean, these are pennies a piece versus those construction screws are a little bit expensive. You can really hear that bite into the wood there. So I definitely could have gone with a slightly larger size drill bit, but you know, that'll be okay. Oh, I better not forget my beauty ring. So beauty ring goes over, hides the bracket back there. Little tiny Allen wrench, I'm not even sure. I think my sizes are rubbed off this set. 5/64, I believe. Some of these may be a flathead. Micro screw, you may have to have like a precision screwdriver set to get in on some of them. This one was pretty difficult looking at it when it was facing upside down, I think, when I had first messed with it, to really see up in there as to what size that was. And it's not the most secure mount ever. It really doesn't hold it real firm, it just keeps it really from sliding off. Doesn't really hold it from wiggling. There's quite a bit of wiggle in that bracket, which I've never really liked about this particular holder. It does get a little stiffer as you tighten it up a little more, but it's, you know, it's a single arm bracket versus a double arm, so it's not going to be as secure. Okay, and that's pretty tight on that set screw. So we're sitting here doing our business. That's nice and firm there. Should be still within easy reach, and being in a stud back here versus just drywall anchors over here. The boys shouldn't be able to rip this out this time, so hopefully this takes care of this one and I won't have to revisit it.
Introducing Jackson.